The police officer didn't ask a single question. Instead, he grabbed Marcus Johnson by the collar, slammed him against the polished marble floor of the bank, and snapped cold steel handcuffs around his wrists. The briefcase Marcus had been carrying burst open as it hit the ground. Hundreds of documents scattered across the banking hall while terrified customers scrambled out of the way. Phones appeared from every direction, recording what they believed was the arrest of a dangerous criminal. Marcus struggled to lift his head, but no one was listening. One customer whispered loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear. "I knew something wasn't right the moment he walked in." Another nodded. He looked suspicious. Within seconds, the whispers spread across the room as though they were facts instead of assumptions. No one asked Marcus his name. No one asked why he was there. No one even looked at the documents lying all over the floor. They had already decided who he was. What nobody inside that bank knew was that the next 15 minutes would expose one of the biggest mistakes that Branch had ever made. It hadn't been easy. His father had worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table. His mother cleaned offices at night after spending the day caring for elderly patients. Marcus grew up hearing people tell him that success wasn't meant for people who looked like him. He never argued. He simply worked harder. While others slept, he studied. While others complained, he built. Failure wasn't an option because too many people were waiting for him to fail. That Tuesday morning represented the biggest achievement of his life. Inside the leather briefcase were contracts worth nearly $8 million. He had scheduled a private meeting with the bank to finalize financing for a major commercial development that would create hundreds of new jobs. Everything he had worked for was finally within reach. Until one stranger pointed a finger. Officer Daniel Reed tightened the handcuffs and looked directly at Marcus. "Where's the weapon?" Marcus blinked. "What weapon?" "The one." The officer frowned. "So you're denying it?" "I'm telling you the truth." Another officer had already begun searching through the scattered papers. Loan agreements, engineering blueprints, property surveys, tax documents, financial statements. Nothing looked criminal. But the accusation had already taken on a life of its own. The branch manager rushed out of his office after hearing the commotion. "What happened?" A security guard answered quickly. This man was reported acting suspiciously outside the bank. The manager looked at Marcus. "What exactly did he do?" The guard hesitated. "A customer said he kept looking around." The manager frowned. "Anything else?" "He was carrying a briefcase." The manager stared at him for several seconds. "That's it." Nobody answered. Across the room, an elderly woman slowly stood from her chair. "I've been watching since he walked in," she said. "He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't shout. He simply stood in line like everyone else." Silence filled the room. The customer who had first raised the alarm suddenly looked uncomfortable. I thought." Marcus looked toward the man. "For a moment. You thought I didn't belong here?" The man couldn't answer. Instead, he looked away. Outside the bank, news of the arrest was already spreading online. Someone uploaded a 30-second video titled, "Bank Robber Arrested in Broad Daylight." Within minutes, thousands of people had watched it. Hundreds of comments appeared. Most assumed Marcus was guilty. Very few questioned what had actually happened. Inside the bank, Officer Reed received a call on his radio. He listened quietly before replying. "Copy that." His expression changed. He looked toward another officer. "Dispatch says there's been no robbery report." The room became noticeably quieter. No robbery? No hostage situation? No weapon? Officer Reed slowly turned back toward Marcus. "If you're not robbing the bank." Marcus interrupted him. "I came here because your bank invited me." The branch manager looked surprised. "What do you mean?" Marcus nodded toward the receptionist. I had a 10 o'clock appointment. The receptionist quickly checked her computer. A few seconds later, the color drained from her face. She looked at the manager. Sir. He does. The room froze. Everyone stared at Marcus. The receptionist swallowed nervously. Mr. Marcus Johnson. Conference room A. 10 o'clock. The branch manager's heart sank. He looked down at the scattered documents, then back at Marcus, then toward the officers. Something was terribly wrong. No one had verified a single fact before placing an innocent man in handcuffs. Officer Reed immediately unlocked the cuffs. He paused. Marcus slowly rubbed his wrists but said nothing. Sometimes silence speaks louder than anger. The branch manager bent down to gather the papers scattered across the floor. As he picked them up, one document caught his attention. His eyes widened. He read it again, then a third time. He looked toward Marcus with disbelief. These contracts. Marcus nodded. They're mine. The manager whispered almost to himself. $8 million. Every employee standing nearby heard him. Every customer heard him too. The whispers started again. Only this time, they sounded very different.